the first 3 clips have been released, and I must say this is without a doubt the most encouraging footage we've seen so far. By now they have been taken off the internet by Fox, but I just hope you've seen them, because they were pretty great. Well, they weren't that great, but they were the best footage we've seen so far. The first trailer was terrible, second trailer was still not that okay, but it was, in comparison with the first trailer, it was good. And now these clips are yet a little better. It's not that great. I mean, the montage and music and everything is still temporarily, it's really, well, badly done. Yeah, I keep wondering why they don't. I mean, about 3 or 4 months ago, there was this NarniaWeb news story that actually said that 35 minutes of the film were finished. I mean, if they have to show clips now, why can't they just take some footage from those 35 minutes? I don't really get that, but we'll see how it turns out. I mean, it's clear that this is temporarily, because it's the same music as they use in the trailer and everything, so I'm fine with it. I just wonder why they don't release finished footage. Then the first clip starts with Eustace writing in his diary, and then Lucy and Edmund come home from doing the groceries, and he puts it into his sock, which I think, one, is great that they include the diary, and because it's like this little tidbit for fans, and second, it's really cool that he's actually putting it into his sock, because that way it will be with him when he goes to Narnia. So we'll probably still see the diary. I'm not sure if he's going to actually, we'll actually see what he's writing in it. Maybe he'll do a monologue or something while he's reading from it, with a montage from how the ship and the crew are doing something. Maybe we'll just see him writing it once every while. But it's cool, it's in there. But then we cut back to Lucy and Edmund, who are in their room, and they're talking about the painting, as we've seen in the trailer. And then Eustace comes in, and he uses this great little rhyme about how they still fantasize about Narnia. And yeah, I love that it's in there. It's great. That, I mean, it's almost literally from the book, although it's not literally, because they somehow changed one word. He's now saying that they are orphans, which I hope is not true. I mean, they can't kill off their parents. That would just make no sense, So I hope they're not killing off Mr. and Mrs. Pevensey, but I guess not. I mean, it's probably just trying to, mock them. And then, the scene continues, and Edmund responds, is like also a rhyme, and it's great. I mean, I really like it, although it's really visible that the editing is very temporary. I hope that the actual movie will be better, but I like how Eustace, his role is played. I mean, for me, this is really Eustace, and I really think it's amazingly done. I'm very happy about this. So of course he's one of the new and very important characters in this film, and he's one of the best characters in the series. So I'm very excited that he's being portrayed so well. So yeah, that's just great news. And then he starts talking about how the Pevensies read fairy tales and stuff, and he reads books about actual information. And yeah, I like that it's in there. It's almost straight from the book, and it's also something I think is very important to a lot of well, I mean, I believe it's very important that when you get older, you should actually don't throw away who you were as a kid. Just evolve from that, and just still have the kid in yourself. Um, but yeah, I just love that it's in there because it's like a big theme for Lewis, and it's good that they got that out of the book, because it is a theme in the book, really. So I'm very glad it's in there. It's very encouraging, and yeah, then they get to Narnia, and it's almost exactly the same as in the trailer. So that's it for this clip. The second clip is Dragon Island, and this clip is well, the first clip is probably my favorite from all three, and this clip is, I'm not sure. I think this clip is my second favorite, but I'm not sure. But what I do not really like is how they change the island. It's almost like a rocky kind of desert like place, and with huge cliffs and stuff. And I always really liked this Pauline Baynes illustration, where it's like this island with huge mountains and a lot of trees and a bit scary. But yeah, that's the way I always imagined it, and this is about the opposite. But still, it's I think if I get used to this idea, it will be fine, because it's a nice setting. It's just not what I imagined, but it's good. So then we see Eustace walking, and he sees all the treasure and the gold, and this time in the film it's not in a cave. It's just there in this chasm, and I'm not really sure I like this. A lot of changes they've apparently made. I mean, Eustace is actually somehow running away from Edmund or something, because Edmund, later in the clip, Edmund says, "I never should have left him." So Eustace sort of started wandering on his own on the island, finds Octesian's skeleton. So Octesian didn't change in the dragon, which is very strange to me. I don't really know how Eustace is going to change it. I mean, in the book it makes sense. They don't explain it, but it makes sense. If Octesian can change in the dragon by sleeping on the gold or something, or sleeping in the cave, it's obvious that Eustace can have the same problem when he does the same actions. But yeah, now we have just somehow an old dragon in there, and a skeleton from Lord Octesian, which by the way, I think his reaction to the skeleton is not at all like it should be. So they changed the whole dragoning thing. So I'm not sure how that's gonna play out. But I'm keen to know. I'm really looking forward to seeing it, because I think it might be just as good. But nothing more to talk about. Oh yeah, of course there is. After that we get we go back to the ship, and then Gale somehow they see fire coming up from the island, and Gale says, "Is it a volcano?" So somehow there's a volcano on this island, and then Dwinion says, "No, that's no volcano." His accent is a bit funny, but it may just be the line. But yeah, again, I'm not really here. The temporary editing is really bad because it's like rushed. But I like how this like builds up to the unveiling of Eustace.